Hi, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about ILA, or what's referred to as independent legal advice. It's a question that we get all the time. I think it's such an important one. And I'm going to pass it right to Eva. Eva, what is ILA? What is independent legal advice?
So when a family is going through the mediation process, they're always encouraged to get independent legal advice. That means that they each go to their own lawyer. And that is preparation essentially for the mediation process. That is for you to get your own legal advice. Legal advice is an analysis of your case to protect your interests. You'll talk to a lawyer and find out kind of how to structure the mediation so that you can engage with it at the best way possible.
So then it can be used as a tool, right? And then we get the back questions like, yeah, but Eva, you're a lawyer, so why can't you provide legal advice during the mediation?
That's right. And so what we tell our families is Laura and I work as neutral third parties. We're both equally neutral mediators. Neither one of us can provide legal advice. Never should your mediator ever be providing with legal advice because they're neutral. That would take them out of their neutral zone. Instead, what we do is we say, you can bring a lot of different tools to mediation. One tool is understanding your rights, understanding your obligations under the law, and you can go and get that through legal advice.
So technically, legal advice is not the same thing, because that's another thing that we hear. It's not the same thing as hiring a lawyer for a legal battle, right?
Well, this is what I wanted to touch on the most, because I think a lot of families come to mediation because they're terrified, rightly so, of getting stuck in a legal battle. Everybody has that neighbor or their friend or that cousin that spent $50,000 in their divorce, almost lost their house, went over 2 years. And so I think you and I are very sensitive to the fact that people are afraid. But what we tell everybody is, no, there are amazing lawyers out there who are supportive of the mediation process. You just have to know how to look for them. You're looking for a collaborative family lawyer, someone who maybe even is a mediator on themselves, someone who you can tell is willing and able to kind of hold your hand, depending on how much you need them in the mediation process.
Is it actually required? Does the client or does the family need to have legal advice?
We get this question a lot. So legal advice is not required in order for you to sign a separation agreement under the law. You can just go to mediation as long as it's appropriately prepared. The separation agreement you can just sign with a witness. However, it is strongly encouraged and strengthens your agreement considerably if you have a lawyer review it, explain it to you, and sign it with you. It can be as easy as that. It can be a one meeting thing. It doesn't have to be, Laura always says, it doesn't have to be for a legal battle. And I think that's the best way to say it. So yeah, it can be very cost effective and very easy to do.
So they can, all in all, they can choose to retain a lawyer for independent legal advice. When do they do that? If they decide that they want to, do they do it at the beginning of the mediation, in the middle, at the end?
That's a great question, and it really depends on the person. You can engage a lawyer at any part of the process if that's what you choose to do. Some clients go and talk to a lawyer before they start the mediation process. They tell them, hey, give me a sense of, what can I expect? What am I entitled to? What may I have to pay? What does it look like? And some don't see a lawyer at all throughout the process, but then take the separation agreement that we prepare, or if you're going to another mediator, you may get what's called a memorandum of understanding. They take that document that's prepared in mediation to a lawyer to review and provide advice on. The lawyer can tell you some strengths, some weaknesses, and give you the pros and cons about signing it. So it can be as simple as going right after the process, or even at the beginning of the process and checking in with your lawyer as you go. It can really be open to what you need.
And now the scary question. What if I take it to a lawyer for independent legal advice and it turns into, a battle? And now the lawyer is telling me, no, go change this. And so the relationship, instead of being a partnership, now it's becoming sort of a battle in between the client and the lawyer to make changes.
That's absolutely right. And we get families who are sensitive about that all the time. They say, you know what, we took so much time and effort to come to this mutually satisfactory agreement. We don't want someone to go to a lawyer and the lawyer whispers, all kinds of amazing promises and kind of blows up the deal, for lack of a better phrase. And so what we tell our families is, number one, we completely understand that. We validate that. Sure, that could happen to anybody. But what we tell our families is, no, that comes from picking the right professional at the outset. Again, picking a professional that is comfortable with the mediation process, that understands your goals, and that your direction is that you want to settle this out of court. You are the boss when you talk to the lawyer. You can tell the lawyer the direction and the approach you want to take. You can tell them, hey, if you think that, this agreement isn't great, give me the tools so I can return to mediation and negotiate it. So you're always lobbing back to the mediation process. And I think once you have that goal in mind and you find a lawyer that can empower you through that goal, you shouldn't have any issues at all.
So all in all, is independent legal advice, it's strongly encouraged. It strengthens the agreement. And you have to have a collaborative relationship and with your lawyer. And in the end, my last question is, do they have to, what if they get advice from a lawyer that it does not align with their goals, with what their sense of fairness is in terms of their agreement? Can they say, thank you very much, but I'm comfortable with the terms of the agreement, so thanks for the advice, but I'm not going to take it? Can they say that?
Yes, absolutely. And we see this very often. It's the lawyer's duty to try to get you the best possible case or the best possible outcome no matter what. Oftentimes, lawyers measure this by getting you the most amount of money or the most time with your child. But that might not be how you are measuring the best possible outcome for you. So what we tell our families is, yes, you can absolutely direct your lawyer and say, hey, you know what? If you want to put your advice in a report and I can sign it saying that you told me, so, we can acknowledge that you did your job, that's no problem, but you don't have to take it. The way legal advice should work, and this is how I explain it to my clients, is legal advice is a buffet and you take what you want from it. It's the lawyer's job not to force it down you, but to put it all out there so you have an understanding of what is available. So absolutely, I think that's one of the best parts about mediation, is that you can create your own deal with the understanding of your legal rights, with the understanding of legal advice, but you don't have to follow it. You can follow what you feel is right in the end.
Thank you, Eva. This was great information. And of course, if anybody has any other questions, please email us or make a comment under the video, and we'll always try to, to respond in the next, in our next video podcast.
Thank you.
Bye for now.